Hello, this is Survival-gyver, and today is a new video for the GRIP, which means Grand Rapids Industrial Products. This is their hawkbill knife, which is a little difficult to find on Amazon. It actually I had to put the SKU number in order to get it to work. This is a budget knife. It's usually about $9 or $10. I think I paid $10 for them. So I bought this one to review. Saw it in the store, looked kind of cool. I like the color. See what happens, right? I didn't get very far into testing until I had a problem with it. And it's a safety problem. So I've decided that, well, I'll do like what I normally do with like Gerber and every other brand that I've had issues with, is to buy a second one and open it up on camera to see if the new one right out of the package has the same problem. That's how it can be fair, all right? Because maybe I did something wrong to it. On a side note, I'm going to make it a little bit brighter in a moment, but it's to get rid of the glare that this has because it's really shiny. This is a new audio in this video, so we're trying something different. And if you get some background noises, there's a raging thunderstorm coming through the neighborhood or through the area here. So there might be a lot of thunder in the background, and hopefully I won't lose power in the process. The computer here is on a battery backup, but I'll lose the video in the process of it restarting. So, first things first. This is a kind of cool looking thing. There's almost no information about it, unfortunately. So, this is just a little dongle thing I was using to keep the knife upright on the backdrop here. So, this is a hawkbill knife. I don't have many of them. They're really good for like harvesting, if you're doing some gardening work. Also, you find a lot of these in the trades for like cutting carpet and wire insulation, cutting down boxes, all sorts of things that you can put the point in first and then drag in this way. The curve does a great job cutting, almost like a talon on a bird's foot, right? So, right off the bat, you know it's a hawkbill, but I have no information as to what kind of steel. Literally. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so I can see what I'm doing here. It just tells me it's stainless steel. It's definitely not D2. And by the price point, I'm thinking it's probably 3 or 5 CR. Yeah, I have no way of testing the metallurgy of it, but it may not be like a tool steel like 5. It might be, it could be, like if it's like a gardening tool kind of thing, it might be a 3. Those are typically found on like shovels and things. A cheap steel that's relatively durable. This is, you can't tell in this case, but it is really, really sharp. So, don't know if you can see that, but you can shave with it. So that's pretty cool. So I know it's at least sharp. Now, next thing you'll notice that it has a, let's see if I can find it on the screen here, a glass breaker, stainless steel glass breaker. Typical of cheap knives. Gotta put something on there, right? Some of these have a stud. You can take them out with a wrench. They're like studded. Or sometimes there's a stud sticking out from the wrench side, and this is like a cap. Don't know in this case, but you can see right through the lanyard hole. So I'm thinking it might be a stud sticking out and then this part be hollow if you had to take one off. I'm not going to do that yet because I haven't even gotten through testing before I have found a serious flaw. Now, side note, you got this nice little seatbelt cutter or cordage cutter. Also familiar with cheaper knives. A lot of them have this kind of little groove to it. In this case, it looks like a half a razor blade kind of thing. You can see it on the back end here, how you would replace it. On a side note, it's got this weird lock. And unfortunately, that's as far as it closes. I wish it would close a little bit farther in, but it doesn't come through the back end here. It feels like a maybe a sand cast aluminum because of its kind of like grip to it. It's texture, I should call it, instead of the actual word grip. This is just a side lock to prevent it from opening. Alright? Which is kind of weird. But so you have to press to open it. But it doesn't open. It doesn't open if you try to fling it out. I've tried lots and lots of times. It doesn't do anything. I want you to listen to how this opens. First part of the lock. Second part of the lock, alright? This has nothing to do with this because it's got a liner lock. I don't know if you can see that in there. It's got a liner lock. On the back side, that's my problem with this. The liner lock is screwy on this. The back side has a pocket clip, a wire pocket clip, which is nice. And it's reversible. So you have one here for tip down, or if you want tip up, you could put it on this side. So that's kind of cool. So what do I mean that the liner lock is screwy? Well, let's find out, shall we? That's a problem. So I gotta unlock it to open up the blade. Sounds like it's locked, but it's not. See, now it is. Once in a while, but it doesn't capture the liner lock properly. Let's see if I can get that to show. You can see it open, you can see it move, but it doesn't in the lock unless you hit it really, really hard. That is a safety concern, especially if you're using to cut something on here. And what happens if you suddenly finish cutting and hit in like an open spot and you're pushing down on the blade, or your hand's on the back end of this, pushing this way? Well, now the blade is free. There goes your fingers, because this is just going to go bloop, and there you go. That's a problem. So, what about this one? This one is the original package. I got this from the same vendor. Okay, so, grip, Hawkbill folding utility knife. Part number is 46075. Used for breaking down shipping cartons, stripping wire insulation, slicing through carpet. It's typically what a Hawkbill is for. On the back here it says stainless steel Hawkbill blade stays sharper, longer, and resists corrosion. I don't know, comparative to what. Contoured aluminum handle with belt clip, push button blade release with handle lock. Weird. Opposite end features a glass breaker and a rope cord cutter. Shows you all the same stuff. Shows you opening up, looks like a pallet, and the shrink wrap that's on it. That's what they're doing there. Warning, keep out of reach of children at all times. When not in use, keep knife locked to avoid injuries. Got no problems with keeping it locked. Problem is I can't keep it locked in the open position like you're supposed to be able to. Warning, using hand tools can be dangerous. Always use caution and keep away from children. Use protective ANSI, eye and face protection at work areas at all times. Now, if you want to find this on Amazon, there'll be a link in the description. It took me a while to find it. Made in China, of course. The only way I could find it on Amazon is to use this barcode, the 097257460 756. Then I was able to find it. So, let's take a look, shall we? Well, it's great at opening up packages, that's for sure. Might be a couple of scratches in the process of me doing that, but not bad. There we go. Okay. I really should try to mark this somehow so I can see the difference, but what I'll do is I'll just leave this one here and this one here. Now, actually I could do a mark on it. This one, it's got some paint missing that mark there. Really should just rather mark it with a marker, but I don't know if I have one over here. So, let's take a look at this one, shall we? Same thing, same features. Still locks in the closed position. I press the button, which feels better, by the way, than that one. This one, I don't know. This one feels better. It's also a louder click. So let's open it up. Ooh, this one feels like the liner lock worked. So that's a bonus. Let's see, did it? It did. Because this does unlock it. Let's try that again. See, nice and solid, doesn't make any extra noises. Listen to noise. Got one there, and then it's locked. This liner lock works. This one does not. This one just feels weird too. I feel like it isn't. So here, if you can listen to that. 1, 2, and it's a light click. This one definitely sounds like I haven't used it as much. This is definitely stiffer. Come on, focus on the lock. Come on. There we go. That is a positive lock. So good news is I got one that works. Ooh, that sounds good that way too. Open this up again. I'm going to do it slow enough that the liner lock stays in position so we can see it. See, that worked. Put that one over there. This one. Open this up. See, it doesn't have that regular click. You can see the liner lock doesn't go up far enough. So if I do this, you see a difference? One's up by like an extra mil or so. Alright, so yeah, the one on the left is definitely the better one. It feels better too. It feels better going through the lock, while this one is just dangerous. So it's good to know that, like usual, I get the defective one to begin with. That's if you ever watched any of my videos, it always seems like the first one I get is the defective one, and then the second one seems to work most of the time. So yeah, so this one's not so bad. Again, $10 ain't a bad deal for it. It does. I wish it had a thumbnail on it, thumb stud, or an auto assist, because this is just you can open it with one hand, and you can lock it that way, but I keep thinking that's like an access lock, and it's not. The liner lock is easy enough to get to. The other thing that I would like on the back of this, I mean, this little notch here is nice when the lock works, but I would prefer some jimping. Like, you got some jimping back here, but you know, here would be fine, so I could at least put a good amount of tension on it if I needed to. But this one, maybe I'll loosen it up enough that I can actually flick the blade out, but it kind of reminds me of a Thunderbird snout or something, or one of the characterized ones for like a sports team. See, it just doesn't lock. That's just one of those things that drive me crazy. So I'm going to mark this one off as not great. I'll keep beating the crap out of it for a little while. I only really had it for about a day. I bought this one yesterday, and I bought this one today. So it is what it is. I will leave a link in the description to where you can find this on Amazon. I actually put them up for Tractor Supply, but I couldn't find it on the website for Tractor Supply. So I don't know. But I'll put a link in the description for Amazon where you can find them. There's actually $1 more on Amazon than it was at Tractor Supply. But otherwise, decent little knife when it locks. So it's good to know that there's a 50% chance because I only have two right here. There's a 50% chance it'll work properly. I'm not a big fan of the side lock. I get it to keep it closed for children's use, but there are better ways, you know. But other than that, it's not bad. Again, I don't know what kind of steel it is. It's either 3 or 5 CR. Some kind of stainless steel. Razor blade in the back. Stainless steel glass breaker. By the way, I've only seen them in green, which is Grip's color. The Grand Rapids Industrial Products. It is their color scheme. And I guarantee that most people in the United States have at least something of Grip in their house, in their garage. If you ever done any work on cars, needs a cheap clamp, zip ties, magnets. They do a lot of basic manufacturing goods. Just merchandising. It's just merchandise. Just something to fill an empty spot up in front of an auto parts store or hardware store, something of that nature. Grip products, I can go through my garage and find it all over the place. So they have a lot of stuff. I could not find this on their website though, which was interesting. But they make a lot more stuff than what was on their website, so I don't know what that's about. But so other than that, thank you for watching. Please tell me in the comments below if the audio is any better for you, because this is going to be a new setup for a little while, and I got to wait for comments to see how it actually is, because how I hear it is through a headset, so it's different than how you might be hearing it, whether it be on a phone, TV, computer screen, something of that nature. So yeah, please tell me how the audio is, if it's any better than some of the previous videos. I do have a couple of videos that are coming out that have the older audio style, which use the webcam instead of the current microphone. And we'll see how it goes from there. Alright? Well, thank you for watching. Questions or comments, leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening.